Gator and I were debating this earlier as we were talking about how the Lions submitted that play to the league. I kind of like it. I like it because of the fact that even if it was the right call, I'm sure there can be examples found of that flag not being thrown. And if you're the Lions and you've been a doormat forever and you've been walked all over and you haven't deserved otherwise, I mean, because honestly, when you put yourself in precarious situations, any little bounce that doesn't go your way gets magnified. But if you're playing better and you're not in a precarious situation, you're not in a position where that call matters. But between LeGarrette Blount pushing back and I'm okay with them submitting this. You are less okay with it because your thought is it's not going to change anything.
No, it's not going to change anything. I don't understand why you're submitting a call to the league that is a legitimate call. It was holding. You got called for it. And, yeah, it stopped a big play for you. But what's the point in sending that to the league? And your retort to that is?
It's time to stand up for yourself. It's time to say we're not going to be the same old Lions. We're not going to get walked all over.
That's the message you need to be sent in the locker room so you don't make penalties like that.
Well, I'll send that message to the locker room as well, and I'm sending it to the league, and there's multiple recipients of said message. Patricia was asked about it today, actually moments ago. Why'd you submit this to the league? Here's what he had to say.
Well, again, I don't think this is a situation where we're questioning the league. What we're doing is just like every week we do, whether it's penalties or particular plays, we just always ask for clarification so that we can make sure we're coaching or teaching or instructing our players to do it properly. And I want to make sure I understand what the officials saw on all the plays, that we have that we maybe are not sure of, whatever that case may be. And once they explain it to us, then it is what it is. It's how they see it, and we got to just make sure that we understand what that is so that we can go out and coach it and teach it the best way possible.
It sounds like it's less that they're calling BS on the league.
No, they want clarification. It's like a passive-aggressive way of saying it. It's, which is fine, but because I think that's probably a smart way to do it. Okay, look, we're saying this to you, and the league's like, well, yeah, it's a penalty. Like, okay, but can you explain why it's a penalty? Because I got to tell my players why this play that happened way the hell away from a play that could be called against some teams and not called against other teams. Why is this a penalty again? And then they can explain it.
248-539-9797. Ticket text 97136. Let's get back to your open line calls. We go to Jay on a cell. Hi, Jay.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Okay.
Hey, starting yesterday, I was listening to the show, and then starts off today. I agree with Gator 100%. You're wasting your time, ink to paper. You might as well throw it in the trash. If you got a complaint, you make it at the game and make it stink then. Don't come back, start blaming the officials, blaming the league on it. The Lions stink. Until you earn some respect, you're not going to get those calls. But regardless, it was holding. They made the right call, and they're going to stick with it. So the Lions just need to own up to it. You guys suck, and you have for 60 years, and you're going to continue until you guys stand up and do something for yourself. But quit blaming it on the officials. You send that to a league, and you guys – Detroit looks like a bunch of crybabies. You get your ass kicked, and you deserve it. So own up to it, man.
Well, there's like 70 people that work in the organization that part of their job is to submit stuff to the league, and if they decide they want to submit it's not a waste of any coach's time or any. I mean, you got people in the organization whose job it is to do this, so why not?
And if they're doing it for teaching purposes so that they can say, all right, guys, here's what we got back from the league. This is what you can do and what you cannot do. And apparently this is what you cannot do.
I do feel like they know exactly what they can do and they cannot do. And I think you're right. There's a passive-aggressive element to this of them saying, hey, explain yourself. We just want to know the rules, but explain yourself.
Yeah, and the league comes back and says, yeah,
and I'll tell you what, Jay, if for 1 second anybody on that roster thinks that because they submitted this to the league, everything that happened is okay, then those people, that cannot be the message to the team. I agree with that.
Yeah, but also, Doug, I mean, these guys they're grown men making lots and lots of money, and, to throw down an official because he made the right call, it's disgusting, really. I mean,
okay, you might be gripping the club a bit tight. I don't know that I would call it disgusting.
But maybe not that far, but Yeah.
I can think of a lot more things that I would consider disgusting than that. 248-539-9797. Zach in Macomb. Hi, Zach.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
What's up?
Nothing much. So I guess I just want to chime in and saying, because I know the talk about that call that happened on Sunday is kind of going on the talk of the Lions getting robbed. And I feel like that call that happened on Sunday should not be a call that should be in talk when it comes to the Lions being robbed, like the Atlanta game last year or that Dallas Cowboys game that you guys with that flag being picked up or anything like that. I just feel that the Lions just played horribly. I think that loss that happened on Sunday is all on Stafford. I feel that because you could sit there and say there was that one call with that flag, but there was that 4 or 5 times that Stafford overthrew a wide open receiver. Marvin Jones got past that defense probably about 3 times, and Stafford overthrew him.
Yeah, there's plenty of blame to go around. There's the special teams that weren't so special again, that allowed a punt return for a touchdown, or kicker return for a touchdown, I should say. And then they had their own punt return for a touchdown that was called back because the Lions had 2 guys with a push in the back. The run defense was horrific, allowing 190 yards to the San Francisco 49ers, including that ridiculous clown show of a long run from Breida. A lot of blame to go around, and Stafford's part of it.
Yeah, I mean, because then what? Was it 105 yards worth of penalties that were called on us that game as well?
Yeah, they had 10 penalties for over 100 yards.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, because, yes, you could sit there, I'm going to use that Atlanta game I guess that goes to that question you guys just asked like 10, 15 minutes ago about stupid rules in the NFL about that 10-second runoff rule.
When you're out of timeouts, yeah. Zach, you think it all because your direct quote was that loss all falls on Stafford.
Yes, I do.
So
that loss.
So the acknowledging the special teams, the run defense, none of that. It's all on Stafford.
I'm just saying that we are like the talk right now is about Patricia giving that or having the league look back at that one play.
He just talked about it, but you think it's all on Stafford?
That game that happened on Sunday, yes.
Okay, I just disagree. There was failings on a lot of fronts.
Stafford
was a big part of it.
I don't even think he was number one culprit. If I had to put my pie of blame, he gets a slice, but it's not the biggest slice.
Number one for me would be they gave up 190 yards on the ground at 7 yards a carry.
Yeah. That's number one. Number 2 for me is special teams.
Number 2 for me is Stafford. Number 3 is special teams.
Probably go Stafford is probably third, but Stafford also made plays to get them back in the game.
Stafford, here's the most amazing thing. Do you remember last year we were citing at how great he was on the deep ball? I mean, he was great on the deep ball.
Not so great on Sunday.
He was brutal on the deep ball Sunday.
They have odds right now out there for who's going to be the first NFL coach to be fired. Vegas odds.
It's not our guy, is it? Wow. We'll get to that at 12:02. Open lines, Doug Karsch, Scott Anderson. Also coming up next hour, got a question about Michigan, the Wolverines and their quarterback. We'll get to that at 12:30. And we do need to discuss the Urban Meyer, the tour de media yesterday that he did with the Tom Rinaldi sit down and talking with the.
Oh, God.
You'll
His
hear
57-minute press conference yesterday.
We'll get to that at 12:50. 97.1 The Ticket.